A little preface for the upcoming video. First off, I apologize for the poor mic quality, as I forgot to bring my Blue Yeti microphone when I traveled. So it is most likely going to sound like this for the next 4.5 months or so. Second, any of the information that is going to be mentioned could change in whether it's true or not anymore because of the fact that Shadow Slave is still going on and releasing daily. So if I end up getting proven wrong in the upcoming days, I'm sorry. And finally, despite my inconsistency, I am glad that people do engage with these videos. So thank you to everyone who will end up watching this video if you decide to stick around. Now, enjoy the video. Spoilers for Volume 12 of Shadow Slave. So, turns out I might not need to make an entire full-length video after all. Recently, in Volume 12, Sunny and Nephis were in the underworld. While down there, they encountered a creature that was peeking through the hole to the abyss, that region between the underworld and the Shadow God's domain. Major spoilers, but despite not being a nightmare creature, the thing is about as strong as an unholy nightmare creature and commands true darkness. Even worse, it decided to toy with Nephis and Sunny by creating clones of each other and putting them against the opposite. That would be Nephis versus evil Sunny, and Sunny versus evil Nephis. All of the information that I'm going to be talking about from here on is relatively new, so once again, major spoilers. The chapters I will be referencing in this video are chapters 3094, 3096, 3099, 3109, and 3143. Once Sunny begins to fight the Nephis doppelganger, he has his own inner monologue on the idea of fighting Nephis in the first place. He comments that fighting Nephis to the death is a waste of time on his part because he literally cannot do it. Not in the romantic sense, but that he is literally incapable of killing her. Not only that, but he says that while considering he is at full power, with his entire Shadow Legion and using sorcery. I will have the paragraphs on screen, but I will read it out as well. The passage goes. So, how was Sunny supposed to fight that? Actually, he knew perfectly well how. After all, in the past, he had spent countless hours thinking about that exact scenario, back when competing with Nephis had been an integral part of his world. And what he came up with was that if the two of them ever fought, trying to kill her would be a fool's errand. Instead, Nephis, like other beings who were functionally immortal or close to it, had to be restrained and contained, not destroyed. Granted, he had imagined facing Nephis while wielding most, if not all, of his powers. But now, the Shadow Legion was engaged in a war against the Bara Wraiths on the Forgotten Shore, while his other incarnations and shadows were scattered across the Dream Realm, entangled in various conflicts to protect humanity against the encroaching apocalypse. What this implies is pretty clear. At full power, including Serpent and his death will, he cannot kill her. This passage also serves as good backing for what I will be reading out next, specifically in reference to what his full power is. A couple of chapters later, Sunny says that his true strength lies elsewhere, in his Shadow Legion and his ability to use sorcery. That bit is a very heavy implication, that a majority of his strength lies in his domain in sorcery, not himself. But before anyone riots, here is the text passage. No matter how curious Sunny was about what would happen if he and Nephis woke up one day and decided to battle to the death, he had to admit that he was badly matched against her dark copy here in the underworld. If he was wielding all of his powers, he honestly did not know what the outcome would be. Sunny was an immensely powerful being himself, but his true strength lay elsewhere. His shadows were immensely powerful, and he commanded a deathless legion of shades. He was also a master of sorcery. With this and the previously referenced paragraphs, the message is very clear. Sunny as an individual does not make up a majority of his strength. I'm sure some people are getting up in arms anyways, saying, but Sunny's shadows and shades are part of his power. They still constitute a 1v1. First off, no they don't. Second of all, Sunny confirms that such an idea is false in the next piece of text I'll be reading out. My third point will be explained properly after the next text, but Sunny's domain is a territorial one, meaning any being part of his domain is a separate individual, contradicting the idea of a 1v1. You don't have to go far for the next piece of text, as not only is it in the same chapter, but it starts in the very next sentence. He says that his Shadow Legion is his domain, meaning they cannot be considered as part of a 1v1. The text goes like this. Of course, if his domain were to be included, then Nephis had to be included as well. Which meant that the question wasn't really who would win in a fight, him or Nephis. The question was who would win in a war, Sunny and his legion or Nephis and all of humanity. No offense to anybody who still maintains the idea that Sunny's domain would still constitute a one-on-one, but you are incapable of reading comprehension. Let me draw a very easy to understand comparison. Sunny's shades and shadows function a lot like Sung Jin-woo's shadow army from solo leveling. They might come from his power and such, but they are still individuals. But even within Shadow Slave's power system, there is more than enough evidence to support my position. And now, Sunny did most of the work for me by confirming that using his domain does not constitute a 1v1. So far, what I have said and read confirms that the premise of my video about Sunny and Nephis is true. In a 1v1, Sunny admits inferiority in individual strength and power compared to Nephis. To add to the fuel, a few more chapters later, Sunny gives Nephis the idea for what becomes the most powerful win condition of any human in the verse to date. He tells her to open a dream gate to the skies of Godgrave and cast the sun's light on the creature of true darkness. Something capable of reducing a cursed tyrant to ash has become part of Nephis's potential arsenal, and something she only needs herself and time to pull off. The text goes like this. Nephis froze, ceasing all movement. In the next moment, the world seemed to come to a violent end. Sunny did not have words to describe the apocalyptic devastation he and Nephis had summoned into existence. In fact, he did not even possess the capacity to fathom it. All he knew was that when the fierce light pouring from the radiant dream gate touched the elemental darkness flooding the underworld, reality itself was torn apart. All of existence quaked. All of existence screamed in horror and pain. There seemed to be a colossal and obliterating shockwave, but Sunny was not sure, since the very concepts of force and impact had lost all meaning in the jaws of the unimaginable cataclysm. A deafening roar took away his hearing. A blinding flash took away his sight. An eerie cold took away his tactile sense. An immolating heat burned away his sense of smell. All he could taste was ash and fear. It was complete annihilation. Annihilation in its purest form. The underworld itself groaned. The ground beneath their feet suddenly turned into a slope. Even the mist of nothingness below seemed to have been banished, revealing the rapid current of the great river for a brief moment. The river boiled and evaporated, then was born anew. And worst of all, the calamity was not instantaneous. It was still continuing to spread and rage, growing more annihilating with each passing moment. Hell. Indeed, it was hell. Sunny and Nephis had summoned hell into existence. To be precise, they had summoned a very particular hell, because the dream gate Nephis had manifested was not connecting just any 2 points in the dream realm. Nothing as prosaic as that. Instead, what Nephis had done was connect the dark depths of the underworld to the merciless abyss of the radiant sky above Godgrave. At this point in the story, it is fairly inarguable that Sunny is currently weaker than Nephis, and frankly, his attainment of the weave doesn't change that. Sure, it makes him more powerful in all the areas the 7 weaves enhance, but we learn that that is done solely for the reason of making the idea of manipulating and defying fate a reality. There is one final thing to mention, which could really shift things, which is that in chapter 3143, we saw that Nephis's domain had weakened. At first, you'd believe that saints do provide a lot of power and will boost to a sovereign's domain, but it's simply that a supreme's domain cannot encompass other supreme beings. So naturally, her domain is going to be weaker when there are 6 saints leaving to become the supreme rank. The final part of this final part is that in the following chapter, it is mentioned that when all of the domain holders, being the various supremes, come together, they are intending to meet up to see how they would split the coverage of humanity so that each sovereign can have a domain, which could inevitably shift the conversation in Sunny's favor depending on how it goes. But that is a maybe, so we cannot really bring that into discussion. So, what's the final verdict? I was right. Sunny did all of the work for me. I don't even need to make the full-length video anymore, but I might, so I'm not sure. It's always a controversial topic with Shadow Slave fans, but I can't really do anything about it. Most of them believe that because he is the main character and he has these like more abstract powers, that he's naturally going to be stronger than Nephis, but you can't do anything. Anyways, that's the video. I hope all of you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave your thoughts and comments, and join the Discord, link in my community posts or about me, depending on where you are watching it. Thank you for watching, and have a good morning, afternoon, or evening. Take care. Real quick, before anyone closes the video, I do want to, ask a little post-video questions. Was the microphone quality good, or should I try and find an alternative, stick it out, or just suck it up and not make voiceover videos until I get back? Another thing is, I know I came off a little aggressive with some of the points. I'm mostly just joshing around. And finally, if you do have any video ideas in terms of voiceovers, I'd be happy to hear them out. Thank you once again for watching the video and sticking it through my little test. I hope everyone has a good morning, afternoon, or evening. Take care.